Sure.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about these stories here, and when I think back on myself over the years, and not that I'm out of it because I still deal with this as well, but I'm aware of it now. For me, it was kind of like this. I always told myself stories that I assumed other people were telling themselves about me. So I'll say that again. I
Mm.
always told myself stories that I assumed that other people were telling themselves about me. So what essentially I was trying to do is I was trying to think what other people were thinking about me and judge my perception of myself based on that. Now I know that's a little trippy. You may have to rewind that in slow motion and play it backwards to understand it a little bit better. But if you do that, let me know what you think, okay? But essentially what I'm saying here is that I was trying to get inside other people's heads. Now the reason that I was doing this is because comparison was my normal. All I ever did for many years was just compare myself to a standard held by somebody else. I never compared myself to my own standard because I never even thought that was a thing. Now that's all I do. I try not to compare myself. I still fall into the trap now and again, as we all do. It's called being human, dog. It happens. But now I try to compare myself to the former Scott rather than, Dave or Tom or Willie or Janie. I try to compare myself to what I've been through and where I have been as opposed to where someone else is going through. Now, I think the thing about it, when I look back on it too, is that this comparison in my life was the driving factor. I was always comparing, who's got better grades, who's got more girls, who's better at sports, who's got this, that, insert whatever you want there. But I was constantly using that as my measuring stick for my life's success, was this comparison, how I measured up to everyone else. And that is such a toxic way to live life. And the thing that makes me really upset about it, Ed, is that I see so many people now as a grown adult at 25, so many people I'm surrounded with who still live their life like this every single day. People are going out of their way to do certain things only because they want to compare with something that they've seen or something that they've heard or something that somebody else has said. And I'm not saying that that's bad all the time. I think sometimes maybe it's healthy, but I think a lot of times it really gets us away from finding out who we truly are, finding out what we truly want, and finding out what really makes us unique and special people that we are. And a lot of times, if you don't find that out about yourself, you're always going to assume that you're not good enough, that you're too much of this, you're too much of that. And when we get stuck in that negative self-talk over and over and over and over again, that's really a vicious cycle to be in. And it's only going to lead to being exposed to a lot of other difficult things. Now, I'm not going to sit here and name facts because I don't know the facts per se, but I would assume that a lot of people who turn to substances, drugs, alcohol, and a lot of other things, the reason that they're doing this is because that negative self-talk makes them feel like they are not enough in some type of way of their life. Whatever that negative coping skill is, I can guarantee you at some point it started because that negative self-talk wasn't where it should be. And you know why that negative self-talk wasn't where it should be? It was because comparison was the forefront of that person's mind rather than celebrating who they actually are.